Right now at 5, one person injured in an early morning crash near the Joplin airport.
And we got a little cloudier last night than what was expected. We're still going to warm up though. Got to look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, Paramount makes a play for Warner Brothers. What it could mean for the future of the studios.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, December the 9th, and I can tell you exactly what that means. I've decided not to sell.
Not to sell Warner Brothers?
Yeah, we've decided not to sell.
You and your brother made that agreement?
We decided, really, a couple billion dollars. What is it? It's $7 billion or some crazy
You could have handed
amount.
me, I would take $1 million. That's all I'm asking. That is a very
honestly,
small percentage.
With that kind of a deal, I think all of the Warners deserve a fair share of that because, I'm sure there's got to be some kind of deep relational tie somewhere along the line. It was $7.2 billion, some stupid number. Like, who has
that much money?
I've got 42 cents in my bank account right now. So, I just don't know who walks around. I know that there's, more technical details involved in that, but my goodness.
You should just write to them and be like, for my Christmas,
yeah, right,
I would like to be included as a very small percentage of this deal.
Yeah, that's the thing. A small percentage would still be quite a bit out of that kind of money. That's insane. Well, happy Tuesday to you all. Got a little cloudier last night. On the way in, I was like, man, it's a little cloudier than what we thought. We were looking at mostly clear skies. That got mostly cloudy, and that's where we're sitting right now. So, like yesterday, mostly cloudy. And how do we know? Well, I drove in and saw it, but we also could take a look outside from downtown Pittsburgh. That's a little more difficult to see with certainty, but I assure you, we are mostly cloudy this morning. Don't worry, though. The clouds aren't going to have any kind of impact on the fact that we are going to warm up today. So the range line looks good. KDOT camera looking along 171 here from 69. Also looks good, and we'll take one quick look at the MoDOT camera. 32nd in range line in Joplin also looks good this morning as well. Temperatures warmer than where we were yesterday. We're about 10 degrees warmer this morning than where we were yesterday. We're at 39 in Joplin, 37 in Pittsburgh. So across the area, again, not too bad. We've got most of us mid-upper 30s. We do have some cooler spots. Jay at 32. Bentonville, which is usually the warm spot, is the cold spot this morning at 31. So again, there are some chillier spots, but then you factor in the wind. That wind has already picked up, and those wind chills are down. Joplin, you may be at 39, feels like 30 though. We've got wind chills into the mid to upper 20s across a good portion of the region. So even though we are 10 degrees warmer than yesterday, you still want to bundle up this morning as you head out, but don't bundle up too much because it's going to warm up later. We should eventually go partly cloudy to mostly clear. Our southwest winds, again, as we head into the mid to late morning hours, will increase, gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. But outside of that, we will be dry and again, just a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Kids heading out the door this morning, we're going to go about 36, be 51 by lunch and recess, and look at that, 56 as they head home. So, don't break out the swim trunks for this type of weather, but definitely it will be warmer and it will feel nicer. We'll go about 40 by 9, low 50s by noon, and our highs today mid to upper 50s. However, you still have to deal with that wind. Southwest winds 10 to 20 sustained, gusting upwards of 30. So if you're driving a high profile vehicle, do make sure that you are watching out there. We're going to warm up today, then we cool down again, then we're going to warm up again, then we're going to cool down again, and there might be some rain on the horizon. We're going to look at all that in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The Emergency Management Director in Cherokee County is terminated. Commissioners made the decision at the weekly meeting yesterday morning at the Columbus Courthouse. They terminated Matt Haviland as the Emergency Manager Director effective immediately. Sheriff Brian Henderson will fill in until the position can be permanently filled. KOAM reached out to both the county and Haviland's attorney for comment. The county says commissioners don't comment on the cause of terminations. November marks the highest number of traffic crashes in Cherokee County this year. Numbers have nearly tripled since the beginning of the year, with 43 crashes last month compared to the 16 in January. To reduce crashes, the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office advises drivers to avoid distractions, buckle up, and never drive impaired. And a fire at a local Dunaweg trailer park displaces a resident Monday morning. A space heater is the suspected cause of a fire yesterday morning at a mobile home in Dunaweg. The blaze broke out around 8:30 in the morning at the Turkey Creek Estates mobile home park on East 7th Street. The resident escaped safely before firefighters arrived. Dunaweg fire crews knocked down the flames quickly with help from Joplin and Webb City fire departments. The fire caused extensive damage and forced crews to cut utilities to the home. Preliminary information reveals a space heater was to blame, but investigators continue to look into the exact cause. A rollover crash impacted morning traffic on Missouri Highway 171 near the Joplin Airport yesterday. Emergency personnel from Carl Junction and Joplin both responded, as well as the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Authorities say the car was going west when it veered off, hit a driveway culvert, and overturned into a fence and sign before stopping on its wheels. The woman driver got out of the car on her own and had non-life-threatening injuries. A trooper at the scene cited driver fatigue as the likely cause of the crash. Galena police assisted Joplin PD and the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office Friday afternoon in pursuit of an armed fugitive entering the Galena city limits. The chase continued west towards Specter Springs when the suspect drove off-road through fields before surrendering to officers. Authorities identified the suspect as Austin Arnold of Fort Scott, Kansas, who faces multiple felony warrants, including possession of methamphetamine and aggravated assault. Passenger Chelsea Fields was charged with drug paraphernalia possession. More charges are pending. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. New developments in the possible media mega merger in the works between Netflix and Warner Brothers. Another serious suitor entered the picture. Paramount Skydance, the parent company of CBS, announced what's known as a hostile takeover bid for the century-old movie studio and other businesses it owns. Jolene Ken has the details from Hollywood.
It's a $108 billion cash offer for all of Warner Brothers Discovery. Paramount Skydance, the parent company of CBS News, went around Warner Brothers and straight to its shareholders in an attempt to stop Netflix, 3 days after the streaming giant announced it struck a deal to buy most of Warner Brothers for $83 billion. Paramount CEO David Ellison said the Netflix-Warner Brothers deal would create a media giant that would stifle competition.
When you combine the number one streamer with the number three streamer, that creates a company that has unprecedented market power. That's bad for Hollywood. That's bad for the creative community. That's bad for consumers.
Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos responded today.
We have a deal done. We're super confident we're going to get it across the line and finish.
Paramount's offer is funded in part by the Ellison family, Middle Eastern sovereign wealth funds, a Chinese tech giant, and the private equity firm of President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Billionaire Oracle chairman Larry Ellison is a longtime friend and supporter of President Trump. Today, the president, who recently met with the Netflix co-CEO, weighed in.
None of them are particularly great friends of mine. I want to do what's right.
Puck journalist Matt Bellany says for consumers, a Netflix win could mean fewer films released in theaters and likely fewer studios if Paramount wins.
What we've seen in media mergers typically is when one player exits the market, prices go up, choice goes down.
Paramount's offer to WBD shareholders expires in about a month on January 8th. They'll have to make a decision before then, but regardless of which way this goes, expect heavy regulatory scrutiny from the DOJ and the FTC. Jolene Kent, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Coming up, President Trump outs farm aid and faces new questions over a deadly Caribbean strike as the White House pushes for controversial Russia-Ukraine peace deals. Plus, a record-breaking sequel, Golden Globe luxury, and a Broadway spectacle. We have looks on your eye on entertainment. And warming up for the next couple of days, Chris has a look at your weekly forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, President Trump travels to Pennsylvania soon to tout his work on the economy amid dwindling poll numbers on the issue. This as farmers there and around the country could soon get one-time payments as part of an aid package to offset the president's trade war. The farmers' assistance was announced Monday at a White House roundtable, during which President Trump also discussed strikes on alleged Venezuelan drug boats and talks towards a Russia-Ukraine peace deal. CBS News' Bradley Blackburn has more from New York.
The economy takes center stage as President Trump heads to Pennsylvania one day after he announced a $12 billion aid package for farmers hit hard by his tariffs and trade war with China.
This relief will provide much needed certainty to farmers as they get this year's harvest to market and look ahead to next year's crops.
The White House says farmers can apply soon for payments that will go out in late February, funded by tariffs revenue.
A one-time payment for farmers is cold comfort for all the headache and anxiety and losses they've endured because of Donald Trump's trade war.
Also Monday, the president appeared to walk back last week's comments indicating he'd be open to publicly releasing the footage of a second strike on an alleged Venezuelan drug boat from early September that killed 2 survivors.
Whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem.
Now deferring to his defense secretary.
Whatever Pete Hegseth wants to do is okay with me.
According to 2 sources familiar with the matter, Hegseth, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio are set to brief 8 top lawmakers on a range of issues later today. Meanwhile, President Trump continues his push for a Russia-Ukraine peace deal.
We want to see if we can stop the killing.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky discussed the U.S.-backed peace plan with European allies Monday, though provisions calling for Ukraine to cede land to Russia remain a key sticking point. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Yesterday, President Trump on social media threatened to slap Mexico with a 5% tariff, claiming the country has violated a treaty that allows both nations to share water from Colorado, Tijuana, and Rio Grande rivers. Well, still to come, a former elite runner turns heartbreak into healing. How one woman is sowing hope and helping others with a comfort hug hoodie. Plus, warming up for the next couple days, Chris has a look at your Tuesday forecast. The countdown to the Golden Globes is on, with event organizers giving a behind-the-scenes look at the menu. And a new Broadway musical is taking fashion notes from the 1700s. Gwen Baumgarten has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Zootopia 2 is seeing a stampede of success.
Greg, we talked about that.
The animated sequel has set box office records for the highest international opening for an animated film, and now earning 2 Golden Globe nominations. The film's director is planning a cast celebration.
This is a movie about togetherness, so what better way to celebrate than all together? I think that's a big part of it.
The Golden Globes will air January 11th on CBS and Paramount Plus. Golden Globe organizers unveiled the event's curated luxury menu courtesy of the chef behind Nobu Restaurants.
So on the plate he has the miso black cod, he has his trio of nigiri, and also the yellowtail with jalapenos topping it. The updates to this year, the individual caviar cup with a potato base and the lobster salad.
Nominees will also be greeted with champagne on the red carpet, in total 1,500 mini bottles. From the runway to Broadway, fashion designer Christian Cohen is giving an inside look at the musical The Queen of Versailles, starring Kristen Chenoweth. The designer took inspiration from Marie Antoinette.
It was amazing because on one hand I got to do my creative expression within fashion for Kristen's character, but then I really got to exercise my skills in comprehension of going through old paintings, going through literature.
Based on a documentary of the same name, The Queen of Versailles follows a couple's desire to build the largest private home in the U.S.
I will never stop building this house!
The musical is playing now on Broadway. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Those are certainly some very creative costume choices. Well, now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got mostly cloudy skies out there to start the day, and while our temperatures are warmer, we do have some chilly wind chills. Got to look at your forecast and the warmer weather today when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:21 now on this Tuesday morning. We're going to start, of course, with the future track, which there's not much going on over the next few days, other than that cold front that pushes through tomorrow, brings us down a bit, and the wind arrows. See how fast they're moving? It's going to be breezy today. We talked about it yesterday. I wasn't lying. It is going to be windy today. And so that's where we start. Gusty winds. We're looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Now, I'm throwing partly cloudy in there because last night into this morning, it was supposed to be mostly clear. That's not what happened. It's mostly cloudy. So we'll see how the clouds play out. But otherwise, we will warm up. Clouds aside, we're going to warm up considerably so, especially compared to yesterday. And we'll stay that way. In fact, that'll lead to a mild evening. But then same time tomorrow. That's one thing that hasn't changed. Early tomorrow morning, because here we are by 5, we have this cold front coming through. Now, as I mentioned, this cold front isn't overly strong, but it will bring our temperatures back a little bit and bring us gusty northwest winds as we head through our Wednesday. So it'll be breezy. It'll probably feel a little bit cooler out there. But like today, we'll have that mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. We should otherwise remain dry. Now, as we go Wednesday night into Thursday, we'll have some moments of mostly cloudy skies, and then we'll turn back around on these winds. And that's why on Thursday, we're going to warm right back up. Here come those gusty southwest winds again. Another partly cloudy day for us, and temperatures on Thursday could actually be warmer than where they're going to be today. Not by a lot, but they could be warmer than where they're going to be today. And even tomorrow with the cool down, we will still be warmer tomorrow than where we were yesterday, because yesterday, a pretty chilly day. All right, so here's what we've got. Should have those mostly cloudy skies out there. Upper 30s to start the day, upper 40s by 11 o'clock this morning. And like I said, a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies through the day, breezy. Southwest winds again sustained at 10 to 20 with those gusts upwards of 30. And we'll have our highs today into the mid to upper 50s. So like I said earlier, don't break out the swim trunks or anything, don't get crazy, but it will be warmer than where it has been the last several days across the 4 states. Through the evening, again, the partly cloudy skies, eventually going mostly cloudy overnight tonight. Temperature drop after sunset is slower, but it will still eventually fall back into the low to mid 40s, and we'll have west winds tonight, 10 to 15, gusting upwards of about 25. Like I said, they'll turn out of the northwest behind the front tomorrow, still gusting up to 25. Like I said, we're a little cooler, 50, okay? Yeah, it's not as warm as today, but it's still not as cold as yesterday. We're going to be a little cooler Wednesday night, but then Thursday, those southwest winds pick up, and we're going to start getting warm again, upper 50s in our southern counties, really, honestly, our southwestern counties, we could get a couple of low 60s in there. But then we get another boundary in and take a look at what happens. Then we start to get chilly. Friday, Saturday, upper 40s, isolated shower chances. Now, yes, it's going to get cold Friday and Saturday night, but any rain we see, which right now is expected to be fairly isolated, should be rain when it falls. But as we've discussed in the past, those who see rain, if it doesn't dry out first, it could freeze. So watch out for slick spots from Saturday night into Sunday, and then bundle up again. I don't know what that is. I know what it is. It's 34. It's just not fun. But we're back in the low to mid 30s by Sunday. Next week, we start off pretty chilly in the low to mid 40s, but by the second half of next week, another warm up looks to be on the horizon. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over now to Samantha with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. The Community Blood Center of the Ozarks is asking folks to wrap up their year by saving lives. The CBCO held a blood drive at the Columbus Chamber of Commerce yesterday. As part of an end-of-the-year push, the Blood Center is offering fleece blankets to donors. The blood that Ozarks collects will help 40 local hospitals in need. New research suggests that patients still trust doctors more than artificial intelligence. A study by the University of Southern California and Broad College in New York found 17% of people said they trust AI as much as a human to diagnose health problems. But the study also found most people see the technologies that use AI to help diagnose cancer as promising. School reopenings following COVID-19 lockdowns led to an improvement in children's mental health. Researchers from Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health looked at data from schools across California from March 2020 and June 2021. They found there were fewer diagnoses of depression, anxiety, and ADHD when schools reopened, and the longer schools stayed open after the shutdown, the fewer mental health conditions diagnosed. Adults who used medical marijuana for chronic pain under a pharmacist-supervised system were less likely to require prescription opioids. That's according to new research published in JAMA. Researchers studied more than 200 adults receiving treatment for chronic pain over 18 months and found participants who used medical marijuana reduced their morphine dose by 22%. Researchers say these gradual reductions can make managing chronic pain safer and more sustainable. Now to a story of a young woman turning pain into purpose and stitching herself a fresh start along the way. She's created a hoodie to help people with autism feel a little bit more at home in their own skin. Tina Cross has the story.
For 22-year-old Millie Haywood, each stitch in her studio is mending years of feeling misunderstood.
A new passion has kind of lit that spark back inside of me.
A spark that faded when her dream of being an Olympic runner was crushed.
I suffered a lot with my mental health. At the age of 13, I was diagnosed with anorexia.
Haywood spent 2 years in the hospital struggling with her mental health and still relies on a feeding tube. But a turning point in her healing came a year ago when she was diagnosed with autism and says everything clicked.
Learning more about myself is really helping me mentally.
It's helped her find a new purpose. She's created a comfort hug hoodie that eases her own anxiety while also helping others.
Where did Mentally Unstitched come from?
I wanted to create something that I would be proud of and shows how I've been misinterpreted and how people have misunderstood me.
Her inspiration, the giant plushie she squeezed for support on dark days.
It just feels like that hug in a hoodie.
She designed it as sensory-friendly, no itchy tags, a hood big enough to fit over headphones, and heavy enough to bring calm.
Weighs around 2 pounds, so perfect on your shoulders to help relieve that anxiety.
Haywood's also sewing clever slogans onto other products to celebrate neurodiversity.
I really hope that I can inspire people with my designs and with my story that, what makes you different makes you stronger.
A thread of empowerment sewn into every design on her road to recovery. Tina Kraus, CBS News, Chalford, England.
Haywood hopes to eventually create a full clothing line for the neurodivergent community that's both comfortable and stylish. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, transportation crews gear up with new strategies to tackle winter road conditions.
And no winter road conditions to worry about for the next several days at least, as we are going to start warming up today. Well, look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, donations from the Toy Box Project spread holiday cheer to kiddos across the 4 states.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:32. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, December the 9th. Happy Tuesday to all of you out there. And it was a pretty chilly day yesterday.
Yes.
Didn't like it, but not so bad this morning. The wind is something, of course, but outside of that, temperatures are a little warmer this morning. We're going to be a little warmer this afternoon, which will be a nice change of pace.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciated that my car seemed to warm up a little bit quicker today than it did yesterday.
Yeah, see, mine still took a minute, but
it was still cold walking outside. Like you said, the wind was kind of hitting you, so you're still probably going to want at least a little jacket.
Yeah, you definitely want that. I mean, for me, like I said before, I bundled all up. I had the hat, the gloves, the whole 9 yards because it was cold outside, but you don't necessarily, you want to make sure it's something you can put away. Like all my stuff, it makes my pockets bulgy, but all that stuff will fit in the pockets of my coat, and you want to make sure that that's how you got it because we will be warmer by this afternoon. Let's start though with our live look from downtown Pittsburgh, and again, last night we got cloudier than what is expected, so we're actually mostly cloudy this morning. We were not really looking at that. We were looking more at a partly cloudy situation, but we got some mostly cloudy skies across a good portion of the area as we get this Tuesday started. Our camera 7th and range line looks good, and like I said earlier, right now, no winter weather to worry about, which is certainly nice. KDOT camera at 69, looking along 171 here. The roads are clear, of course, and no traffic at this point. That'll change as the morning progresses. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line in Joplin looks good as well this morning. On to those temperatures. They're warmer, yes, but it can be a bit deceiving. I'll show you the wind chills in just a moment. We're at 39 in Joplin. In fact, 39, we got a couple of them out there, but it's the warmer temperature we have. We're at 37 in Pittsburgh. This was the temperatures across the area. Most of us are in the mid to upper 30s. We do have some cooler spots. Bentonville, for example, usually one of the warmer spots is the cold spot at 31 this morning, but 39, we've got, 4 of them here, and that's our warmer temperature. So Joplin, Lamar, Nevada, and Fort Scott. But then you factor in that breeze, still gusting upwards of 20, and it pushes those wind chills down. Feels like 26 in Siloam Springs, 24 Sedan and Newada. Most of these wind chills are in the mid to upper 20s, so it definitely feels a bit colder out there. Now, southwest winds will continue to increase by mid to late morning, eventually reaching gusts upwards of 30 miles an hour today, and we'll have a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, but otherwise we are dry. Kids heading out the door, again, they'll want the jacket because those wind chills are going to be down there. 36, 51 for lunch and recess, 56 as they head home later today. Be about 40 by 9, low 50s by noon, mid upper 50s for our highs today. And again, southwest winds sustained 10 to 20, gusts up to 30. So as I've mentioned before, if you're driving a high profile vehicle, you want to make sure you're prepared for those gusty winds. Now we have that cold front coming in tomorrow, so it's going to get chilly again. Then it's going to warm up again. Then it's going to get really cold again. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. McDonald's fundraiser raises $5,000 for Crosslines Ministries in Joplin. McDonald's made the donation yesterday following a successful fundraiser on December 2nd, where McDonald's locations in Joplin and Webb City donated a portion of the day's earnings to the organization. Well, downright frosty weather is hitting the northern U.S. from the upper Midwest to Northeast. Lena Zach has it all covered from the frozen fields of Iowa.
A fresh blanket of snow and a blast of cold weather gripped the Midwest and parts of the South. Colder than normal temperatures were felt from Minnesota to Maine. Virginia continues to get snow 3 days after this state trooper ran to rescue a driver whose car crashed north of Richmond during bad weather. The officer had to pull the man out of the burning vehicle to safety. In western New York, snow set the scene for the matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday. 2.5 inches of snow fell on Highmark Stadium. Buffalo came out a winner. But many drivers lost their battle with winter weather out west in Colorado. Icy roads and deep snow caused cars to spin out and forced truck drivers to pull over.
It was miserable.
Yeah. A lot of trucks getting their chains put on.
Stopped on the interstate is not a good thing.
Add to the cold a challenging economic climate. Colder weather means an increase in utility costs, and many people already struggling with rent and food prices are seeking help. Sarah Nelson is the CEO of Community Crisis Services in Iowa City.
We've been preparing for a tsunami of need, and we expect it to get worse before it gets better.
Overnight, the temperatures here reached as low as 1 degree Fahrenheit. And when it gets that cold, health experts warn that frostbite can set in as little as 10 minutes. Lana Zach, CBS News, Iowa City.
As we move into winter weather season, we'll eventually see snow-covered roads. Missouri and Oklahoma Departments of Transportation have spent the summer developing plans to handle the weather. MoDOT has a meeting with the state as soon as winter weather is expected. The Kansas Department of Transportation announced an update to the Can Drive app and website. It now features hands-free incident reporting via Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The app has new real-time weather and slow vehicle alerts and Alexa integration. You can visit candrive.gov or download the app. Well, KOAM's anchor Tanya Bach and meteorologist Austin Stans had fun adventure yesterday with kids from Joplin's Soaring Heights 5th grade student council. They bought toys with money donated to the KOAM Toy Box Project to help brighten this Christmas for a lot of kids around the 4 states. KOAM's Ty Parks gives us a look.
6, 7! Today, our student council came out to join KOAM on their Toy Box shopping trip. These are our 5th grade leaders who have been chosen by peers to help do community service throughout the year. And
one of the girls was like, I thought they banned those in the 90s.
Nope, was really fun. We got to hang out and we got to find things that we thought would be fun for kids, and it was really fun.
This is Bear Glove.
This is
Swagger. If like a teen boy, they would like Swagger, right?
It makes me feel good because I feel like we get a bunch of stuff, but there are kids who don't get a bunch of stuff. So it makes me feel good that we're giving stuff to kids who don't get a lot.
Hit up the electronics area. We got creative though. We also got LED lights. That one was Pokemon. Pokemon and Star Wars. Good pick.
Really low because there's kids out there that don't get any presents, which that's okay, but us giving them presents is perfect.
Toy box!
These are awesome. I got a lot of eyelash glue because I got a lot of eyelashes.
Special, but when we think about leadership, we're thinking about kids who put the needs of others before their own. And so we have a program for 5th grade students that rise up to that level. And they really stand out among their peers as wanting to lead students to be the greatest they can be.
KOAM Toy Box!
That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The White House clears the way for NVIDIA chip sales overseas, why the U.S. wants a cut, and how other tech giants could be next. And a little later, concerns about self-driving taxis failing to stop for school buses. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, President Trump announced on social media that he'll allow NVIDIA to sell its H200 computer chips to some approved customers in China. The president says the U.S. will take a 25% cut of the sales, and the tech giant's advanced Blackwell and Rubin chips are not a part of the deal. He also adds that the Commerce Department is finalizing the details and that a similar approach could apply to other American chip companies, including AMD and Intel. Stellantis says it's bringing the Fiat Topolino, a tiny 2-seat electric vehicle, to the U.S. soon, with more details expected to be released next year. The small EV has a top speed of 28 miles per hour with a battery range of about 50 miles. The Fiat Topolino is currently available in Europe and South America. And Domino's Pizza turned 65 today. To celebrate its birthday, the chain is giving out free chocolate lava crunch cakes with purchases of $10 or more. Customers have to enter the code Happy B-Day online in order to take advantage of the deal. The offer lasts through December 22nd. Waymo, the ride-hailing service, faces new fallout over its self-driving taxis because they don't stop for school buses as the law requires. Waymo says it plans to a voluntary software recall to fix the glitch. The company already tried to fix it, but police in Texas say it didn't work. Chris Van Cleve has the story.
It's happened again and again in Austin, Texas. Police say it's happened at least 20 times since August. Self-driving Waymos caught on school bus cameras appearing to ignore the bus's flashing red lights and stop signs here as kids are crossing. The latest incident last week came after Waymo said it had installed a software update to address the issue.
It's not fixed. That's the short answer. It's not fixed.
This is video of that incident, the Waymo stopping, but only after it passed the front of the school bus. The company says it's working to understand what occurred and improve.
The programming did not recognize what a vehicle is supposed to do around a stopped school bus with students loading and unloading.
In a statement, Waymo's chief safety officer says while we are incredibly proud of our strong safety record, holding the highest safety standards means recognizing when our behavior should be better. The company says there's been no injuries in these incidents and its vehicles will remain on the roads, but it will file a voluntary safety recall this week as staff continue analyzing our vehicle's performance and making necessary fixes.
So we're getting on the freeway.
Last year, we rode with Waymo's engineers in Phoenix as they were preparing to launch its new freeway service.
So the bar is to make as few mistakes as possible and be safer than a human driver would be.
Waymo just drove around the school bus.
In October, federal regulators began an investigation after video surfaced of a similar school bus incident in Atlanta. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
That's it for Consumer Watch, and now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like products used to go through a lot more rigorous testing before they were, in this case, literally just rolled out, but I mean, I don't know. We don't have any. I've never been in one. I don't think I could ever do. I could not be in a vehicle that drives itself. I have to be in control of the car. And that's why. That is exactly why. Software glitches and who knows what else, and wait until the hackers figure out how to hack these things and you're driving heaven knows where. All right, well, that aside, if you're in your car and you're driving it yourself, you've probably set the heat on because it is a bit chilly again. However, we will warm up a little later today. We'll talk about all of that in the forecast when we come back. Time now, 5:45.
President Trump has announced a round of government funding for farmers. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. Help is on the way to farmers impacted by the Trump administration's trade policies. The White House releasing details of its much talked about trade aid package. The aid totals $12 billion, up to $11 billion of it is meant for a newly designed Farmer Bridge Assistance Program. It's specifically for row crop farmers impacted by trade issues. Now, during his first term, President Trump gave about $23 billion in aid to farmers. The nation's trade czar says China is complying with terms of the trade agreement reached with the U.S. in October. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer telling that to Fox News over the weekend. Now, Greer says China has gotten about a third of the way through its soybean purchase commitment. And President Trump signing an executive order to look into the food supply chain for security risks when it comes to price fixing. The order stating that in recent years, certain companies in the American food supply chain have settled civil suits accusing them of price fixing for tens of millions of dollars. Now, the president saying his administration will act to determine whether anti-competitive behavior, especially by foreign-controlled companies, increases the cost of living for Americans and address any associated national security threat to food supply chains. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Now let's take it over to Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
I'm sorry, I cannot get over the self-driving vehicles. Those of you who have them, if you like them, they do well for you, fantastic. But, I mean, they're just too many questions for this guy. I'm getting too old for this stuff. And if I'm not physically in control of that car, it's not a good thing. I'm sure there are plenty of you, though, at home that are in agreement. Like, you've got to have control of that vehicle. And you'll want to have control of that vehicle, especially if it's a high-profile vehicle, because we've got gusty southwest winds today. They're going to be gusting upwards of 30, and they'll be sustained anywhere from 10 to 20. So you do want to be cautious. Not like super breezy, but still a sudden 30-mile-an-hour gust of wind across you, that can certainly mess with you. Outside of that, though, we're dry and we're warmer today. We'll have a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies as we head through our Tuesday. Now, as we go overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, we're going to get mostly cloudy. Now, again, I've mentioned, we were expecting mostly clear skies last night. We ended up getting mostly cloudy. This, I do believe, is fairly accurate, though. We're going to go mostly cloudy. And the main reason this is much easier to show here is because we have that cold front coming in. Probably starting to push into our northwestern counties about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then by 5, it's along I-44, and then it'll continue to push through. So again, ahead of it, we'll have west winds tonight, gusting upwards of 25. Behind it, we'll have northwest winds gusting to 25. And we'll continue with that mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Now, while this is a cold front and our temperatures will be lower, we will still be warmer tomorrow than where we were on Monday. We're going to be cooler tomorrow than where we are today, but we'll be warmer than where we were yesterday, if that makes sense. We were in the low 40s yesterday. Today, we're much warmer. Tomorrow, we're still in the upper 40s, low 50s, so not bad. The rest of Wednesday, though, is dry. We head into Thursday. We start again, mostly cloudy overnight because it's another change. The clouds are kind of signaling those changes for us. We'll start to have winds shift out of the south and eventually out of the southwest on our Thursday. They'll start gusting again by mid to late morning, and we'll have that same mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, and this will bring in even warmer temperatures. In fact, on Thursday, really in our southwestern counties, could see a couple of low 60-degree readings. A little unusual for this time of year, but certainly a nice little pause from that colder weather out there. All right, starting with those mostly cloudy skies, upper 30s. We'll go upper 40s by 11 o'clock this morning as we roll into the afternoon. As I mentioned, a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies climbing into the mid to upper 50s. It's those southwest winds, though, 10 to 20, gusting upwards of 30. That's where we're going to run into some issues. It's just with the gusty winds. Partly cloudy through the evening. That slows again our temperature drop because we'll have the warmer air being forced in out there, but we will eventually fall back into the low to mid 40s. That's the other thing. Like, our lows tonight are going to be warmer in some cases than what our highs were yesterday, but west winds, they'll begin shifting late this evening and overnight to 10 to 15, gusting to 25. Like I said, behind the front tomorrow, we'll have those northwest winds gusting to 25. And like I said, we are cooler, yes, but we're still warmer than Monday. We'll be about 50, so give or take, some upper 40s on one side, low 50s on the other. Then we turn around, warm back up Thursday, be it briefly, upper 50s, again, a couple of low 60s, not out of the question. Then we start cooling back and getting downright cold as we head into this weekend. We have some isolated shower chances heading into Saturday. Any rain we see should fall when it's warm enough for it to be rain, but those who do see rain, it could potentially in some areas freeze and lead to some patchy slick spots from Saturday night into Sunday as we drop back into the 20s. We're into the low to mid 30s on Sunday, cool to start next week, warming up by the second half of next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Kids will get a morning to enjoy bird watching and learn how to identify different species. Shoal Creek Conservation Education Center in Joplin is hosting their kids' winter bird count. They host this event around the end of December and beginning of January. Kids from ages 7 to 17 are required to pre-register as there are limited seats, but families are encouraged to come alongside them to learn as well.
And we've got ourselves a warm day. It'll be warmer today than where we were yesterday. Starting mostly cloudy, upper 30s out there. We'll go upper 40s by 11 a.m. Our highs this afternoon, mid to upper 50s, but breezy. Southwest winds 10 to 20 with gusts upwards of 30. So do be cautious, especially in high-profile vehicles. We're partly cloudy through the evening, somewhat mild for this time of year. Upper 40s, back into the low to mid 40s tonight. West winds overnight, gusting to 25 with mostly cloudy skies. That cold front pushes through early tomorrow, brings us down to about 50, and then we'll have northwest winds on the backside, gusting upwards of 25. We'll warm back up, upper 50s, couple of low 60s, not out of the question for Thursday. Then we get cold again into the weekend. Rain Saturday, should be rain. It should fall when it's warm enough to be rain, but some slick spots possible Saturday night into Sunday. Look at Sunday. I mean, we don't want to, but we got to. Low mid 30s, bitterly cold out there. Chilly start to the week, but as you can see, the second half of next week, we start warming back up again. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.